Hello out there in YouTube land. How you doing today? I hope you're doing okay. Today is the first video I'm recording to post on the new channel, Wrenches and Boards. And this channel is going to have all kinds of small engine repair stuff as I have projects come up. It's going to have home repair as far as DIY, kind of at a beginner level. They won't be how-to videos. And a bunch of woodworking as far as what I'm doing out here in the wood shop. It's just a little 10 by 12 shed I built, but I kind of turned it into a small usable space to do woodworking videos. So stay tuned. Hope you enjoy the content I put out, and I hope you get some use out of it. Today's video is going into if I had to start completely over and buy some tools to get me going. I don't have any tools, no nothing. I need to start building stuff. I want to start creating stuff, using my mind. What kind of tools would I start out buying if I had to, knowing what I know now, what kind of tools would I start buying to get me going? And so let's get this started off. For one, I'm going to go straight into tools. We all know to wear safety glasses, gloves, ear protection, all that. So I'm going to just go into the tools. The first set of tools is you could buy saws and all that first, but without being able to measure, without being able to lay out your projects, being able to have a plan. I mean, cutting and stuff is okay, but you got to have your measurements and stuff. So the very first tools that I would buy is measuring tapes. Buy you different sizes, pick them up the way they feel in your hand. I'm not going to get into a specific brand. I own all kinds of different brands. And so just get you a couple, within your budget. And that way you'll be able to measure and mark out and be able to know exactly where you're cutting and how your project's going to go. So I would pretty much, first off, I would buy tape measures. Very important. Second, if you're going to be measuring and marking lines, you want to make sure you're squaring up your board, you're squaring up your marks, making sure you're making square cuts. I would go in and go ahead and buy different squares. I really like this machinist square too. I'll get into why I like this here in a minute. But this here's actually my favorite square besides the machinist square as far as laying out and doing angles, and so this really came in handy when I was doing the rafters and the trusses for the roof of the shed. But I really enjoy using that. You also got your combination square, regular square. I got framing squares up there. Here's another little basic square with a level on the end. It gets used sometimes, but not as much as these. And another thing you could throw in here, I wasn't going to include this, but a bevel guide or a bevel tool. These here come handy. It's not as important as these squares, but when finding angles, you could probably throw this in with these here. This here's not too expensive. This one here I think was $3 somewhere. I can't remember exactly what store. I'm in so many tool stores, it's hard for me to remember exactly where I bought it, but all these are close by each other. These here are very important. You gotta be able to lay your project out and measure and get all that. So now we get in the fun stuff, cutting. I'm gonna include hand saws because sometimes you gotta work, you may not have electricity. I don't know where you would be doing your projects at, or something. These are real quick and they're inexpensive. So if you're gonna have any kind of saws, you might want to include hand saws. You can also include a jigsaw in there if you want to, but those saws will do you fine as far as woodworking in. And you won't go wrong also getting a circular saw and a jigsaw. These here, you could buy them used. This one here I got at a flea market booth. I only paid $8 for it. Even if you go used on, your circular saws, make sure you put good blades in them. Good blades will really help your saw out. Buying cheap ones, they don't last as long, and you'll work your tool a little harder. So make sure you put good blades in there. Don't skip out on the blades in any of your tools. So and getting to this machinist square, when you're buying used circular saws, good thing is on this foot right here, you want to make sure when you buy this that you can make sure this foot, or the shoe, I correct myself, I always call it the foot, but it's actually called a shoe. You want to make sure that this here is square, so you want to eyeball it going down there. Make sure it's not wavy, not bent. Kind of look at this corner to this corner. Maybe, check out, make sure this is square. And then the next thing you could do is use this guide. Make sure you're not plugging it in, doing this. And take your machinist square. If you buy this first, you take this machinist square and you can run it up against the blade. Make sure you can square this up. Sometimes they get banged around and get smooth. Mine does all the time. And this is what you could do even while you're doing projects. These here sometimes move around, so you can always, before you set up and start making your cuts, you use this here. Make sure you're squared up on here. And that there's pretty good, but sometimes I pick some up and you could tell this foot of this here, the shoe, is twisted. You don't want to buy it, because then there's ways to probably straighten them out, but they're not worth it. So I want to make sure that's the most important, and then putting good blades in them. So next thing I would buy after I bought me the squares, the tape measures, some hand saws, circular saw, jigsaw, is you got to be able to start putting your projects together after you get everything laid out, cut, and everything's ready to go together. I would start buying you some nails and stuff, and you could just go with hammers if you wanted to. Sometimes structurally the nails, you might need to go with screws on some occasions, but most of the time, if you're just building small projects at first, you could just get by with buying basic hammers. This here's a finishing hammer. This here, of course, is your framing hammer, a different type of framing hammer. And just go with what fits your hand good. When you're holding it, and act like you're swinging, what feels good to you. Go to different places, whatever's close by to you, and what you could get a good deal on. If you're just starting out, you don't have to buy the most expensive, unless you're getting into the trades, and then buy you something quality. But just make sure it feels good in your hand, and that you feel like you can swing it constantly. So that's my advice on hammers. Most people like the straight claw, because for demo work and pulling nails, I like a little variety of both. So, and the next thing I would throw in the mix, along with being able to assemble your projects, if you want to use screws and stuff, for drilling holes, drilling out so you could put screws in without splitting boards and stuff, go with a good drill, good impact driver. You can't go wrong. Everywhere is starting to get these good lithium-ion batteries. I would definitely go with that. Maybe get you a few extra batteries to go along with them. And you'll build pretty much with all of this, other than maybe some sanders, just from what I just showed you, it's almost, as far as what type of work you want to do, what kind of woodworking, whether you want to build yard furniture, whether you're going to do carpentry, whether you want to get into furniture making, other than that, it's kind of like what you want your shop to be. And so from there, I would just figure out where you want to go with your woodworking, and buy as you see a need for it, and just build from there, and build according to your process. So, but one advice I do got as far as these impact drivers, when you buy little kits, here's a little personal kit I got, and when you buy like these Torx or anything like this, make sure it's on the package rated for high impact or impact tool like this, because if you just buy something that may be rated for a drill or something like that, they may not be rated for high impact. So make sure when you're buying these, buying for high impact, that they could take the torque or the pressure that is impact gun. If not, you're just going to be chewing through these all the time. And I pretty well like, my favorite bits to use as far as screws is these squares, and they have a square tip on them, and then these Torx at T20 and T25 is your most common. So, you know, get you a good variety of these. You could get these magnetic little nut driver sockets to go on there for various lag bolts to add strength to your project. So when you buy these, make sure they're rated for one of these. It should say it on the package, so that's my only advice on that. So I hope you find this video useful. Please be patient with me. I'm kind of new at making these videos, and I'm slightly nervous, maybe even rambling a little bit. I'm going to try and get better as I go and learn how to do some better editing for when I get ready to start doing some build videos. Again, they won't be how-to videos, but hopefully there would be some tips and tricks I could show you. Most of them I've kind of learned on YouTube. So, but if you like what's going on here and stuff, subscribe, hit the bell notifications, so whenever I do post out a video, I'm going to try and post them out frequently and find some content that I could put out. I got a little hammer I could restore. I got a couple lawnmowers out here that I could show you some stuff on and tinker with. And I got some workbench I'm planning on making that I could introduce my little contractor saw in and put a router table built into it and stuff. So that's a build video that might take a bunch of series. So so I hope you have a good one. I hope you enjoy your day. If it's getting towards your weekend, enjoy your weekend. Thank you for watching, and thank you in advance for subscribing. And keep turning those wrenches, cutting those boards. Use your imagination and make it yours. You have a good one.